I was a senior in high school when we had a lockdown that still doesn't make sense. It wasn't a drill. It wasn't some harmless misunderstanding. And I'm convinced someone was testing us or planning something worse. It happened during third period on a Tuesday in March. I remember that because I was walking back from the nurse's office. I'd had a migraine earlier and stepped out for ibuprofen. I had a pass. The halls were empty. It was quiet, normal. Then the intercom clicked on above me. Attention, lockdown. This is not a drill. Please shelter in place. The voice didn't sound like our principal or the office secretary. It was male, calm, robotic. I paused under the speaker and waited for the usual follow-up. But there was nothing. That was strange. Usually when there's a lockdown, the teachers get notified via email too, and a lock tone sounds through the building, this weird chime that alerts the staff. But none of that happened. I kept walking, and as I turned the corner to my classroom, I saw something that made my stomach drop. The lights were off, blinds drawn. My class was already in lockdown. I knocked softly, and my teacher opened the door just an inch, then yanked me inside. "Where were you? You shouldn't be in the halls right now. I just heard the lockdown announcement," I said. She looked confused. "What announcement? We didn't hear anything. The front office didn't say anything either." That's when I realized something was off. Only I had heard it, and this class had gone into lockdown. Not because of an alert, but because of what a student saw out the window 5 minutes earlier. Someone unfamiliar, walking around behind the gym. That's when we heard footsteps. Not running, not heavy, just slow, measured. Outside the door, someone walked past, then stopped. We heard them try the handle, quiet at first. Then a little more forceful. The teacher motioned for us to stay down. Then the door shook, not a full kick or anything, just a jerky pull, and whoever was outside said, "Is this room 217? The voice wasn't angry or loud. It was calm, flat, like someone reading from a script. "I was told to deliver something. Can I come in?" No one moved. No one said a word. Then we heard him walk away. About 20 minutes later, a real alert came in over the system. The actual principal's voice, not the one I'd heard, came on. "Please disregard any false lockdown announcements. There is no active emergency. All students should remain in class until further notice." We stayed in the room until security came by in person. 2 officers walked our hallway with a staff member. Apparently, a maintenance panel in the east wing had been accessed. Someone had opened it and manually activated a hallway speaker. Only 2 people in the building had the keys to that panel. Neither of them were near it that day. There were no cameras covering the panel, and when security finally got to the spot, it was open. Empty. They reviewed badge access and visitor logs. Nothing. And no one was ever caught. The rumor was that someone tried to stage a lockdown in a small part of the school to create confusion, a distraction, or maybe to test how people would react. Our class only went into lockdown early because someone saw the man first. I still think about it. How the voice said the exact phrase we've heard in every drill, how calm it was, and how it targeted only the hallway I was walking in. To this day, I wonder if it was just practice, a dry run, and if next time, it won't be a test. This happened back when I was in 9th grade. It was the first time I ever felt genuinely afraid at school. And not because of the lockdown itself, but because I saw what caused it, before anyone else even knew it had started. It was late spring. Sixth period, just after lunch. I had a free block, study hall, and I usually hung out by the library windows with a few friends. We weren't doing anything important, just scrolling through our phones, talking about video games, killing time. The windows overlooked the staff parking lot. Beyond that, you could see a stretch of field and a tree line. There was a trail that cut through those woods. People used it all the time to shortcut into the neighborhood. That's when I noticed him. A man, walking slowly along the trees. At first, nothing seemed off. People passed there all the time. But this guy, he kept stopping, just outside the fence line. He wasn't dressed like someone out for a walk. All black, hoodie up, hands stuffed in his pockets, and he was staring right at the school. I nudged my friend Mason. "Hey, you see that guy?" He leaned forward, squinting. "Weird. You think he's a parent or something?" Then, we both saw it. He pulled something from his hoodie pocket, just for a second. It looked like a radio, maybe a walkie-talkie, hard to tell. And then, just like that, he slipped it back into his pocket. 5 minutes later, the intercom buzzed on. "Attention students and staff. We are going into lockdown. This is not a drill." That's when things got strange. Because I turned back toward the trees, and the man was gone. No trace of him. Just empty woods and a faint ripple in the tall grass. The librarian rushed us into the storage room behind the checkout desk. About 20 students crammed in. No lights, no phones, no talking. Just waiting. And I couldn't stop thinking. Did someone else see him? Did someone report it? Because I hadn't told anyone yet. And the man never stepped foot onto school grounds. So how did they know? About 10 minutes in, we heard it. A faint clack-clack in the hallway. Footsteps. Not heavy boots. More like sneakers. Moving slowly. Deliberate. They passed the library and stopped. I held my breath. The door was locked, but whoever it was, they tried the handle anyway. We heard it rattle. Then, a soft sigh and silence. A few seconds later, the footsteps continued down the hallway. Then nothing. The lockdown lasted another 30 minutes. No announcements, no instructions. Eventually, the all clear came through the speakers like it was just any other day. "We're now lifting the lockdown. Please report to your 7th period class." That was it. No explanation. No mention in the morning announcements. No follow-up email. Just back to normal. But it didn't feel normal to me. That night, I told my mom everything. About the man, about the radio, about the footsteps. She called the school the next morning. And that's when things got worse. The school said there were no reports of a suspicious person, no camera footage, no alerts filed by staff. But the system had recorded a lockdown activation. Only, it didn't come from the front office. It came from a portable emergency device, one kept in the custodian's cart. Except, he'd been out sick that day. And the cart? It was found unlocked. abandoned by the east stairwell. They never figured out who used it. No suspects, no explanation. But I know what I saw. I remember the way that man stared at the school, like he was waiting for something to begin. And now, every time I hear the intercom crackle to life, I get that same chill down my spine. The one that started when I saw him watching us, before anyone else even knew something was wrong. This happened in 2018. I was in 11th grade. We had a substitute teacher that day. Not just in my class, pretty much the whole school. A bunch of teachers were out for some training seminar, so the day felt off from the start. It was 6th period, history class. Mr. Langford, our regular teacher, was usually laid back. He let us eat snacks, review notes, talk a bit. But that day, Ms. Keller showed up instead. She looked to be in her 50s, nervous, fidgety. She kept checking her clipboard, glancing at the clock, pacing back and forth by the classroom door. At first, we thought she was just overwhelmed. Turns out, she was watching the hallway. About 15 minutes in, she walked over, locked the door, drew the blinds, told us to put our phones away. "We're going to shelter in place. This is for your safety. No PA announcement, no alarms, no lockdown buzz. Just silence." Everyone looked at each other, confused. Some laughed nervously. One kid finally asked, "Wait, is this real? What's going on?" Ms. Keller didn't even look up. "I was told to secure the room, that's all I know." 10 minutes went by. Still no announcements. No footsteps in the hallway, no police sirens, nothing. A few kids kept joking around, but I kept watching her. She stood near the classroom phone like she was waiting for something. Then it rang. She jumped, snatched it up like she'd been expecting it. "This is room 2B. Yes, I locked it already." Then a silence, longer than it should have been. "I don't know. I didn't see anyone. Should I keep them here?" Another pause. She nodded to herself and hung up. "Everyone stay seated. It'll be over soon." And that's when the mood shifted. The tension started to thicken. A knock came at the door. 2 slow, deliberate taps. Ms. Keller didn't move at first. She stared at the handle like it might turn on its own. Then she stepped forward, cautiously, and said through the door, "Who is it? I need a name before I open it." Still, nothing. Then a second knock. More forceful. She backed away, didn't say another word. 15 minutes later. Then we got the official lockdown alert. "Attention staff and students. We are entering a precautionary lockdown. Please follow protocol." And that's when it hit me. We were locked down before the lockdown. After everything ended, the police came and spoke to Ms. Keller privately. We weren't allowed to leave until every room was cleared. Eventually, word got around. Apparently, someone was spotted near a side entrance around 6th period. Not a student. No visitor badge. He didn't belong there. One of the other subs, not Miss Keller, saw him through a window. Security went to check. The door was still locked, but the handle had scuff marks on it, like someone had tried to force it open. Here's where it gets weird. Miss Keller, she wasn't even supposed to be our sub. She'd been called in last minute to cover for someone else, then reassigned midday to our class. No one expected her to be there. When they asked how she knew to lock the door before the announcement, she said, "Someone slipped a note under the classroom door. It said to lock it and wait for the phone to ring. But when staff searched the room, no note, no paper. No one saw it delivered. No one else touched it. I still don't know what really happened that day. If someone tipped her off. If someone was testing how fast we'd react. Or if she was following instructions meant for someone else entirely. But I do know this. If she hadn't locked that door early, if she'd hesitated just a little longer, that knock might have come a lot sooner, and we might have opened it.